Warning: the witching hour may contain material that can be disturbing to some listeners. Listeners' discretion is advised.
For those of you who stopping by the video and/or /stream, my name is I6. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'm here with Young Blake. Check out his YouTube. Check out his Twitch. I will have both of those linked. And we're doing the top 6 most haunted locations in Arkansas. I'm sorry, Arkansas. It's Arkansas to me.
Arkansas. They don't like that.
Probably not.
Evidently, they don't like that. No, they don't.
But I'll basically, this is going to be different than most of my other podcasts with guests, because with the other ones, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions that relate to that. And this one, I'm just going to kind of wing it, and we're going to see what happens.
I'm going to wing it.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, kind of thing. But like I said, top 6 most haunted places in Arkansas. And from what I've gathered up, the website is called hauntedrooms.com. Oh, okay, sorry. I saw something pop up in chat. It says Arkansas is certainly no... Yeah, see? That fucking guy. No short creepy tale or two. I got the first place, number 1 is the Peel Mansion in Bentonville. What I like to do with the, I don't know how often you stop by the podcast or not, what I like to do is I'll read it and then I'll kind of give my opinion on it, because some of them, especially the last episode, a lot of them sounded like a load of bullshit to me. Okay. It's like, we're in Alaska and we're feeling cold spots. Well, no fucking shit.
Alaska's cold, like...
It's Alaska, right?
9 months out of the fucking 12 of them, so...
Right. So, I mean, someone opened a door or a window for a split second, you're going to feel a cold spot. Or if a window's cracked, you're going to feel cold. That's why I think a lot of it's bullshit on that one. Alright, Peel Mansion was built in 1875 by Samuel Peel. That has no relevance to me. It is now said to be haunted by Samuel himself and his daughter Minnie. Okay, Minnie is commonly seen as a white figure wandering around Peel Mansion. She's often heard playing the piano. That's fucking spooky right there. Just as beautiful as she did in life. However, it is said that if anyone enters the room while she's playing, then the music will abruptly stop. Samuel Peel, a former United States congressman, is also said to haunt the former home. His spirit has been seen in various parts of the house. Peel Mansion embraces the reputation as a haunted building and even hosts ghost walks every Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. See, that's the thing. Some of these websites I find, I'm kind of sketchy on, because they don't really give, like, there's no pictures, there's no videos. It's just, like, folktale, basically, and what they think.
Okay.
Now,
well, here's my take on it. The headquarters for Walmart is Bentonville, Arkansas. So, the name is very familiar. I'm very familiar with the town. With online purchases for both working for Walmart and working for a bank where online purchases of Walmart.com comes from Bentonville. But I think, honestly, I mean, okay, so some of those things can kind of be described. I mean, part of those, it might just be added flavor.
right.
But I think some of those could be just, explained. So the piano thing, right? Okay, so she played piano as beautifully as she did when she was alive. They have self-playing pianos, right? And someone could have just like walked in and someone, oh, this is gonna be funny, and turned it off right when he entered the room. So I mean, that's something that could be a thing. A white figure. I feel like that's kind of like everybody says, oh, a white figure when I'm walking in a room,
Right. I've never personally seen a white figure. Now, I've seen like shadow people, quote unquote, whatever you want to call them.
I have had friends that seen those. I luckily have not, because I would not mentally be sane after seeing them.
Well, a lot of people say that the shadow people themselves aren't really bad, so to speak. It's all how you take it. But the white entire apparition of a ghost or a person, I've never seen that, and I pray for the day that I do.
Yeah, when it comes to shadow people, I don't like talking about it because I am an avid believer of ghosts. I have to be because I believe in angels and devils and spiritual things. I don't like messing with those. So I do believe that there are ghosts. I do believe that there are people that happen to prolong their stay after death, attached to the human realm before passing off. And
Right.
the things that I've heard with shadow people, I don't even like bringing them up too much because
It's on those speak
I've
into
heard
existence things.
exactly.
Okay.
I don't like messing with those guys because you hear stories where they are good, you hear stories where they are not good, you hear stories where they just watch you. But I don't want to bring it up that much. But in my experience, I feel like I have worked at a job site that has been haunted, and I can speak of it again. As we've spoken, you're doing this in alphabetical order. When it gets to my state, I already told you I was 100% down with joining,
Right,
but
yeah.
I don't. When my experiences with that was mostly just, it was kind of like a poltergeist. Basically, we had a name for him. I can't remember the name. I think I do remember the name, but I think it was Steven. He would just simply like pull something off the shelf or throw something across the floor or something like that. And that's the most experience that I've had. I've never had where an actual figure was walking across from me or I could see anything in the darkness, because if I did, I would never fucking work there again. But that stuff, I was kind of like, hey man, let's just relax, okay? I'm just trying to use the garbage disposal. That's it. I'm just trying to use the compactor, throw the stuff in. I'll be back upstairs. You can have this place to yourself. Type situations.
You're more than welcome to tell the story in detail now, or if you want to wait until we get to your state, then we can do that.
We can wait until I get to my state for more detail. But just in my given experience, I have not experienced seeing a white figure going across my background, which is also why I'm also about to close my door there, is because I don't want to watch a recording where I see something pass through my hallway and completely freak and immediately try to leave out of this place. Well, I'm going to go close this door right quick because it's open and it's bothering me.
It's kind of funny. See, he's apparently a big fan of Speak Into Existence. So not a fan of, but believer of.
It was bothering me.
Okay.
It was bothering me. It's got to go. But
now we just wait until it opens and.
Oh nope, we're not gonna stop. We're not gonna speak that into existence.
Okay.
But my experience, when it comes to supernatural, I have not seen that happen. So therefore, I can't really speak too much of that because I haven't seen it happen, and I haven't really had too many close friends who said that they've seen it happen for sure.
Right.
So I would say, truthfully, I wouldn't be mentally okay enough to be in that area if I saw it. And I probably wouldn't really tell the story all over the place, or at least not in a way that makes it seem like I still work there, because it still sounds like, oh yeah, it's just a typical Tuesday that we see it and it happens. I would think that place would be very much so vacant and no one would be there anymore because,
Right, now I understand. All right, let's see. This next one is number 2, which, without reading it, I can kind of understand. This is the Jacksonville High School in Jacksonville. And the thing about it is, I mentioned something similar to this on some of the other episodes. Hospitals, churches, high schools, especially depending on the area. I believe some of those would be some of the most I can't really say haunted locations, but most active locations as of like spiritually like presence and stuff, because they're filled with emotions. Like hospitals, people die, people are born, people mourn, people celebrate. I got an itch in my nose. Or you name it, it happens at a hospital.
Yeah, think of that one high school where it had like the mass shooting in the 1990s.
Right, the Columbine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure Columbine's probably haunted with all those people. Virginia Tech's probably got a lot of haunted locations when it happened in the early 2000s.
Yeah, so I mean, there's high schools. We'll listen to the story and kind of judge it from there, but I think those could definitely be places. Because my high school that I went in, that I grew up in, there's been people shooting themselves, hanging themselves, shooting other people, fights. I mean, you name it, stupid shit like that has happened at the high school. Alright, let's see. One of Arkansas's most well-known ghost stories is probably the Mumbling Man. Never heard of it. This is a story about a male spirit who haunts Jacksonville High School. The story goes that this man haunts the auditorium of the high school. People have reported hearing strange noises in the auditorium. Big surprise. That cannot be explained. The most common being the sound of a male voice mumbling away to himself when nobody else is in the room. It is also common to hear footsteps walking on the catwalk above the stage, again when nobody was there. So, that one is kind of sketchy as well because it's an auditorium. It's made to echo sounds. Like, it's made to carry the sound. Someone could be behind the stage talking to someone else and then you hear mumbling.
Yeah, so with auditorium, I used to do band, and we used to sit in for the plays, and we used to play and whatnot. It's 100%, as you said. It's created to muffle a lot of the sound behind it and project all of the sound in front of it,
Right.
and then also hit the back for the people in the back. Hit the back and bounce back enough for them to feel like they're almost as in the front row. So with something like that, you know, it could very much so be, you know, like a rat somewhere. It's a school. Schools could potentially have rats in certain locations.
No, schools are definitely dirty.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that janitorial jobs aren't as pristine as they should be. Or, you know, they're as pristine as they can be, but not 100%. And a lot of the doors in the schools open and close for students going in and out for certain activities and things like that. Who knows, a mouse or a rat may go in, depending on the location of the school. So with that, it could simply be like a rat or something of the sorts.
Right, yeah. And same thing with the catwalk. How are you going to look up in an auditorium and expect to see someone on a catwalk? Because you're not going to see through the damn catwalk. So someone could be just walking through, any janitor or someone doing tech or something, and you're going to hear a walk, and unless they're screaming back and forth, you're not going to see the person or think that anyone's there. And I don't like to be this skeptical about it, but sometimes, especially with paranormal investigation stuff, you got to go in somewhat skeptical, expecting to find nothing.
I feel like that story is, when you were reading that one, the only thing I could think of, honestly, was The Gallows. You remember that horror movie that was released in like 2018, 2019, The Gallows? I think it was 2018, maybe 2017-ish. Between 2016 and 2018 for sure.
Right.
Because it was when I was still living back at home before I moved from college.
Okay.
Before I moved for my last 2 years of university. The Gallows. It was a movie. It was about a high school play where somebody got jealous from the lead actor, and there was a part where they were supposed to hang from a gallows. However, somebody rigged it to where the person actually got hung and died. And they ended up haunting the place, and the whole storyline, if you haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but to me, it made me sound like they took small little portions from The Gallows and was like, oh, this happened in my school, actually. This actually happened in my school, and they took that and put it in a movie type thing.
Gotcha.
So,
see, from the way it sounds, there is that the whole urban legend thing, the spooky ghost story, the mumbling man. To me, it sounds like someone's trying to explain that whole wives' tale, mumbling man thing, but make it sound like it's real.
yeah.
And kind of give it a reason for all that. Let's see. The Clayton House, Fort Smith. Oh, this one actually has a link to read more about it. Let's see what we got. It says Clayton House is listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. It was once a home to William Henry Harrison Clayton. Why does he need so many names? And over the years, it has come to be one of the best loved buildings in all of Arkansas. The house is completely restored to its former glory in the 70s. God damn it. And is now like stepping back in time when you visit. There's even several priceless Clayton family belongings on display in the house. Okay, nothing spooky yet. The former Clayton House director, Martha, claimed to have started having paranormal encounters quite soon after starting work on the house. She has described how one particular bedroom on the second floor terrifies everyone who visits. People report hearing doors slamming, boots stomping in the hallway, and music from empty rooms. That's a little bit harder to explain in the house than it is in the auditorium. Let's see. She also claims to have seen an apparition of a woman dressed in a linen shirt, brown skirt, appearing in Mr. Clayton's study. Okay, so I get it. They kind of gave some kind of backstory, but says there's a particular bedroom, which I'm only assuming was Clayton's bedroom. Slamming doors, boots stomping, and music playing. If the room's truly empty, then yeah, that would be spooky. But if there's... I mean, it's a house in the 70s, so if someone's playing music anywhere, it's gonna reverberate through the house and through the air ducts.
So my only thing is this a connected house, like a townhome, or is this like a house to where like it doesn't have any shared walls or anything like that?
Let's see if I can pull it around. It looks like it's a house. Looks like a big plantation, possibly.
So a house, my take on that would be that I think it probably is. The story is true, and
Right.
this is my reason why. So when you think of like an apartment, like my apartment, I could easily say, oh, I hear stomping, I hear music, I hear yelling. It's haunted. It's just the people up above me. They're freaking loud. They got a dog. They got nothing wrong with dogs. I love dogs. They got dogs. They got 2 children, and my game room is, I believe, underneath the children's bedroom, and I can hear when the children get in trouble while I'm working and stuff like that, and they make noise when they walk across the floor. It's not much that I can say. So stuff like that, it's not like when I hear it at first, I get freaked out, and I'm like, I'm in an apartment. It's just the people up above me. It's okay. But when you're at a house, when I was a kid, okay, the amount of irrational fear that you have as a kid living in a house, we had a very small crawl space. We didn't have a basement or anything like that.
Right.
I think we had a very small crawl space, and that's just for the wiring that's underneath the house. There wasn't really nothing that was underneath the house. No basement at all. However, when the movie The Ring came out, I was scared to walk in the kitchen in certain particular spots for some reason. Just from seeing the previews of The Ring or little portions of The Ring when I wasn't supposed to as a kid, for me to actually walk in the kitchen without like lightly stepping on areas that I know wouldn't crack, because I didn't want to alert what's her name. I always thought she was underneath our house. I was like, if I step here and it cracks, she's gonna kill me. Irrational fear. 100% irrational fear. So a lot of that stuff is multiplied when you're in your own house, especially when you're sitting there on your own. However, the reason why I feel like the irrational fear is in this case rational, multiple guests don't want to be in this place. There's got to be a correlation to where not just one person, not just 2 people, but enough to where you say multiple don't want to be here.
Right.
Because if you're in your own home, you're not playing any music, but you hear faint music. Now, yeah, you could say it might be the neighbors. But to me, if it's a normal house, the amount of space between houses, the only time you hear music from a neighbor is if they have their windows open and they're blaring music, and then it's very obvious. Or they're having a cookout and they got the music outside. Again, very obvious.
Right.
In these circumstances, they're not explaining it to where like the music is extremely obvious and audible enough to understand, oh, it's just my neighbors. It sounds like they're explaining as faint music coming from a set room.
Right.
They also say that they see someone peering. Now, the white figure thing, again, from the other one, I've never seen a white figure, but I have a lot of people who've experienced seeing faces. I've luckily, thank God, I have not seen any, and I hope that I don't ever see one, because again, I would not be mentally okay. But there has been people that have reported seeing a face somewhere they shouldn't have seen. I feel like this could be a haunting. I just don't think it's a... Excuse me. Sorry about that. I don't think it's a severe haunting, but I feel like given the past history, this could be a lingering being that is, or beings that are still at that location, given the location of that area and the way that they were explaining everything.
Right. See, a lot of people, as for the footsteps and the music and stuff, a lot of people refer to it as residual, which means it's basically the memory of the house. I guess you could say the memory of the house, and it's kind of built into it's kind of ingrained into the walls, and those kind of things come out, especially with. And this goes back to like you mentioned, how you were scared from seeing clips of The Ring, when you thought you thinking you've seen stuff or being scared of a certain area. A lot of people believe that people's emotions can trigger things to happen, or even trick yourself into thinking something's happening. So I think I agree with you. I think that this one could possibly be, could possibly have some kind of haunting, whether it's good, bad, residual, or whatnot, or intelligent. But they didn't say anything about it being an intelligent haunting. It's just noises, which makes me think it's just a residual haunting. And it's based off of the story getting passed down. Emotions go skyrocket once people go in there, and they just believe, and it kind of makes it appear and bring itself out. Right.
Okay.
Let's see. Number 4, the Basin Park Hotel in Eureka Springs. Number 4, the Basin Park Hotel in Eureka Springs. The Basin Park Hotel in Eureka Springs is undoubtedly proud of its spooky reputation, to the point where they use "boo" as the basin. Okay, as one of their slogans. Boo at the basin. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, B-O-O, boo.
Yes.
Like boo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many of the guests who stay do so purely to have the chance of snapping a picture of the Arkansas ghost that is called the Bison Park Hotel home. Okay. The most commonly sighted ghost at the hotel includes a translucent young woman with steel blue eyes, that's fucking weird, and cotton candy-like blonde hair. Like poof? Like puffy? And the spirit of a little girl, that's fucking terrifying. Children ghosts are terrifying. Fuck that. But spirit of a little girl with pigtails, even worse, in a yellow dress. Orbs of lights are also common around the hotel, and objects often move seamlessly on their own accord. The Basin Hotel, whatever you want to call it, runs ghost tours every Friday and Saturday night, guided by 2 mediums who explore the hotel in search of ghosts, and who will also offer a rundown of the hotel's haunted history. Okay, orbs. Starting off with the orbs. Orbs are tricky. Especially if you think you see an orb on a camera. That bug, dust, anything. If there's people walking to an old hotel, dust is going to be unsettled, and it's just going to fly around like fucking pollen.
Yeah.
So orbs are kind of hard to explain. Like
But
I
if we're getting
said,
ghost orbs, that's great because it rules out a few ghosts. So now
Right,
we know
right.
what we're dealing with.
right. The little girl with pigtails, like I said, I've mentioned this in other episodes as well. One, when you see spirits of children, you gotta be really fucking careful because a lot of people believe that they are malicious, like evil entities that are taking the form of something that they believe you think is innocent. So you see a little girl, you're not going to be scared, and they're going to be able to do something. But
Yeah.
even if that's not the case, and it is a ghost of a little girl who passed away there, children, like I love my children, but children are fucking terrifying, especially when they're little ghost creatures. I'm trying
they're
to
scary, dude.
And I'm trying to imagine the translucent, steel blue-eyed and cotton candy-like blonde hair spirit. I can only think of like someone from the 60s or 70s with just a giant fro, like a big afro walking around. But it's hard
Like
to tell.
cotton candy hair is like my type of hair, just super curly,
Right,
and bouncy.
that's what I'm thinking. It's just curly and big, but I mean, if it says read more in the hotel, then they have a link to book a room and all that stuff, so you can see it for yourself. If it's actually true, then their business has got to be booming because people love horror, paranormal stuff, and they like to be spooked. But if I could see something that shows that someone has seen this translucent woman or the little girl, I would book a room in a heartbeat.
I would book a room in their competition in a heartbeat because hell no, I'm not going there. The only thing I have to say with that one is no.
Right.
I don't want to. I don't have much to explain on that one for the sole reason being, hell no, hell no, no,
Right. So,
no. A lot of that shit. I mean, 100%. Every single time I see, like, I work up the idea of watching paranormal investigators and whatnot, and they're doing like ghost stories and whatnot.
Right.
Okay, the very first thing they look at, oh, okay, we're gonna spot ghost orbs. Oh, we got ghost orbs. No, that's dust.
right.
Doesn't mean I don't believe in it, but your evidence is crap. That's dust.
Yes.
You guys are not finding ghosts. You may be in an area that seems haunted. They exist. You guys probably are not experiencing a haunting. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, more
That's
times
dust.
than not, the orbs of light that they see is just reflections from dust or bug wings.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean I'm saying that this is a 1000% without a doubt not haunting. But
Right.
given the information, that's a very strong description for an appearance. That's a very strong description.
Right. They make it seem like a whole bunch of people have seen this and they all gave the same story.
Yeah. I would say I have no clue. Given the information, I would hope it's not true.
Right.
Because as you stated, to me, children ghosts are the scariest because to me, for one, having your future robbed like that
Right.
and you becoming an aberration is sad. But at the same time, it's like it could very much so be some type of ghost or malevolent aberration, like
Right.
you spoke of, haunting that is absolutely trying to take you over or anything like that. Excuse me, I'm yelling like crazy. I'm sorry. But I 100% believe it could be true, but I hope it's not true because that's some scary shit.
Right.
And kids are scary, dude. I know as a kid, I've scared my mom a few times. I know I've woken up before sleeping on the couch, and my parents were watching my nephew, and he just appear out of nowhere, and I turn around, he's like, you awake? And I go, Jesus!
What the fuck?
Like, the hell did you get here? I'm not a heavy sleeper. But
Alright,
I don't know.
Right.
That one's tough.
Let's see. The Allen House in Monticello. Yeah, the Allen House in Monticello is haunted by former owner Joe Allen, who built the property. But he is not the only spirit clinging to the place that they once called home. The ghost spotted most often is his daughter, Adele, who is believed to have committed suicide on the property by drinking cyanide. Wow.
That's a terrible way to go.
After her death, Joe moved the rest of the family out of the building, and it was converted into a smaller, more affordable apartments. When the construction began, people started to report seeing Liddell's ghost. The doctor who lived in the house did not hold much stock in the ghost stories and told people that rumors of the haunting were nothing but silliness. However, he was forced to eat his words after developing some photographs he had taken of the house and finding a clear image of Liddell Allen in one of the house's mirrors. I should probably look for that. Now, why? Let me hear your opinion on that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to see if I can find that image.
Now, that's a tough one. So we're talking about a suicide here. Now, if we go with the reasoning of Christianity here, which I believe you said Ash is a huge Christian, so she might be able to either correct me or, agree with me on this, is one of the things for Christianity and a lot of biblical beliefs, Catholic and I can't think of the other branches, but most of the ones that believe in the Bible, if you partake in suicide, that's not really the word that I want to do, but we're going to say partake in suicide, there is no, it's widely believed that there is no salvation for you. That is the worst sin that you can do, is take your own life against that Lord
designing
given
a better
you.
death. Yeah, that's
Exactly, and you are immediately whisked to hell. Now, at that point in time, there is no chance that, I don't know how the afterlife works. So if there's a chance that you decide to cling on to Earth because you don't want to be judged for the sin that you've done upon yourself, and therefore sent to eternity of poking and prodding and an eternity of goddamn, I just can't think of words right now. Basically what hell is supposed to be. Damnation, yes, an eternity of damnation. If you don't want to go into that, okay, yeah, I can see if you have the availability to stay on the earth, you'll stay on the earth, okay? So I could see how a suicide victim would stay on earth. However, the counter of that is, there's also, if you accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior, you are saved.
right.
And even if you've committed sins in your life, if you repent, you are saved and you are welcomed into the gates of heaven. So even with that, I still feel that's the one where it comes to just me personally, my question when it comes to Christianity, what leads to damnation, what leads to salvation type situation? If suicide leads to damnation, but repentance leads to salvation, what if they repent right as they cause the suicide, therefore leading to the repentance of their life and their sin? That should lead to salvation, which means they shouldn't be stuck here on earth or wanting to stay on earth because they don't want to go to hell.
Right.
So that's kind of a weird spot for me, this situation. I will say though, cyanide is not the way to go. That's rough. That's a very rough way to go.
So I found a couple photos, and I'll pull it over, and I'll just put it over top of your video for a second.
Okay.
But they're kind of hard to see. I mean, you could tell by looking at it. Let me see if I can pull up the entire. There we go. You can tell by looking at it right here. This is where it says the first one is. And looking closely, you can see kind of a head right there, and then an older style dress. But it's very blurry, and it's not in the mirror like they said. This is in a window, supposedly. So that
it could be a reflection of someone standing behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then photo number 2, you see an apparition right there. Now it's only a misty apparition, but it looks like something trying to form. Oh God. Or trying to manifest is what they like to call it. But you could even see the feet down at the bottom. There's one right here, and there's one right here. And then the misty goes up, and it looks like it stops about wherever this white part is. But I haven't actually seen the mirror photo.
Now again, that could simply be another thing where they just did a trick on the camera. They could have. I can easily recreate that in the editing software that we were talking about earlier before you started.
If the person in the comments, if you look, they said forced zoom image looks like it might be simple light.
Yeah.
And they're right, actually. But if that is, legit, then that's a big deal. That's one of the holy grails, especially seeing it happen and manifest right in front of you.
Yeah, that's a pretty scary thing. But also at the same time, if that's the case, again, 100%, I will not go against saying this. I am no longer in that house. I am no longer there. I am no longer telling stories about it. I am not staying in that house. Right. I think that's the biggest thing is these people, they say, oh, I've seen an aberration in my house.
Why are you there?
Bitch, what? If I'm explaining the story, I saw an aberration in what was once my house. I am now living, in a completely entirely different city across the state. Hell no.
Okay, fair enough.
It is never I saw an aberration in my house. No, I saw what could have been an aberration in something that used to be my house.
Right. See,
I am no longer there.
Being a paranormal investigator, though, I would be the one who would try and stay there longer and try and be able to see it better. But
no.
I'm also the kind of person that I want the evidence.
No, I don't want the evidence. I don't want the. It's okay, yeah, okay. I've seen enough. I'm out.
Think of it this way: say everyone's got a phone now. Everyone can pull up their phone and start recording just in a heartbeat. Like mine, all the fucking time I'll pick up my phone and it pulls up the camera without me even doing anything. It pisses me off. Like I'll touch the screen and I'll accidentally touch the camera button. But if someone were to get a camera and pull it up and they record a spirit manifesting itself and it's sucking in the energy and it's full body apparition, they see it before, during, and after, and then they prove that video is not doctored or messed with in any kind of way, then that person just proved that there's life after death. And they are loaded. They're famous and rich.
Either that or they're dead because they're like the people who created water engines, which they don't hide the fact that you just die. They kill you.
Right.
Every single person who's created a water-fueled engine, a vehicle that runs off of water, they don't hide the fact that they kill you. You end up dead, and it goes public, and they don't hide it. So shit like that.
Yeah, that's a big thing to prove or disprove.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I still think it's kind of hard to prove. Like, they say that there's photo evidence. There's photo evidence that a soul exists in the body, which, I mean, the soul is only theorized. Of course, it's still theorized, because we can't prove stuff like that. It's ethereal. It's something that we cannot. We can conceive the idea, but we can't understand the idea, because for us to understand that there is a soul, we have to have died, be able to manipulate that soul and bring the soul back to the body and revive ourselves. And there's people that's claimed to do that, but how can you believe those that claimed, oh, I died and I came back, I visited heaven or I visited hell and I came back and their souls exist, I was able to move my soul and I'm back. Right. Stuff like that, it's hard to believe. It's like, okay, there could be some grounds between that, but at the same time, there's also that speculation part in the back of the mind that's like, okay, you're kind of kooky. You
right.
I think you need a special location and a cool looking outfit to be wearing from now on. So, I don't know. It's, again, to me, if you have the photo of that, if you have photo evidence, and that is a undoctored, true, actual photo of a misty aberration forming in your living room to kitchen area, you would no longer be in that area.
Yeah, that's a huge
any person
deal
right
to
of
build,
mind.
Huge deal to find something like that.
Any person with their right of mind would no longer be there. So I think this one, it could be true.
Right.
But if it's true, those people are crazy for remaining living there.
Right, unless they, like, is it still, I'd have to read up on it later. Maybe I'll do an episode on it later, a full episode. But I'm wondering, is it still, like, do people still live there, or is it closed out? And I mean, if a doctor took this photo, there are people going to believe him because he's a doctor. And,
I wouldn't even believe a doctor. Hell no.
I would be
Doctors,
skeptical,
dude.
but most people, doctors are respectable members of society, and we should believe them.
That's the reason why I won't believe a doctor, because they are a respectable member of society, but they are still people. So I'm going for my doctorates. I hopefully would be a doctor in the next 5 years. You knowing me, would you believe everything I say specifically because I now have a doctorate?
Right, yeah, it's the doctor thing. That's not what's going to make me believe someone. I would want more proof. And I am going to try and find, maybe I'll post it in the last part of this video after editing, put it on YouTube. I'll see if I can find the actual mirror photo, and I'll show a picture of it. But like you said, I feel like it's possible, and if it is, and if this is true, then that's a big deal. If it's not,
that is a very big deal.
If it's not, then you're just another liar who tried for 15 minutes of fame, and it sounds like it died off, because I feel like something like that I would have heard about being in the field that I'm in.
Right.
Okay, let's see. And number 6, the Crosset Lights at Crosset. In Crosset. According to local legends, the Crosset Lights in Crosset, Arkansas, is the lantern of a long-dead railroad worker. I've actually heard of this one. Who either lost his head, yep, I've heard of this one, lost his head in an accident, or was decapitated by a disgruntled colleague sometime in the early 1900s. Whatever the origin of the eerie lights, there's no denying that they exist. Okay, you're pushing it with that sentence. If you travel outside across it to 425 Ashley Road at night, you may see the mysterious ghostly lights bobbing along where the old railroad tracks used to be. They can sometimes look like old railroad lanterns, and other times they can appear in different forms and colors. I've actually heard this one from several of the actual podcasts I listen to. Both, what is it? The Grave Talks. There's one called Lore, My Paranormal Stories, and Weird Darkness. They've all spoken about this one. And it's actually... They've given links and stuff, and I'll see if I can get links, or at least pictures, of this, this railroad, or the lights. But I've actually heard this one quite a bit. A lot of pictures about it. And all the pictures look similar. Quick Google search. So some of them, you don't know, like, some of them are fake. Like, there's a North Christmas festival with all the lights and stuff. I just looked up the Crossing Lights. So let me pull that up over here. This is what they're talking about that no one could ever seem to get to. It's just a random light that I guess looks like it's bobbing up and down like someone's carrying a lantern. There's one from 2001. So this one's obviously, that's bullshit.
There's only pictures, there's no photos?
I mean, these are I guess they're just digitally uploaded photos, but I might be able to find a video. Let me check YouTube.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay.
Daddy. Oh my God, it's bright. Daddy, I'm scared. No, I'm not kidding, Daddy, I swear. It's in the middle of the road. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not.
Okay. So they got out of the car, they backed up for a bit, they told their friend, just
Daddy.
shine this flashlight for me,
I gotta go. I'm scared.
and I'll catch a video of it as I approach.
No, Daddy, I'm
The
not
only thing
lying.
that throws me off
I'm
is
not kidding.
the video is not getting bigger or
Okay, just run
smaller.
away. Thank God. Okay, I'm
Or
not.
not the video, but the light itself. And then it
Daddy.
just
The
randomly,
lights, yeah,
Daddy,
did it
thank
just
God,
randomly
okay,
shut off?
I'm kidding.
huh.
See, it actually got smaller as I kept trying to
I'm
drive
not
closer.
kidding.
Trend Killer Syndicate. Hey man, I appreciate it. Thank you for the
Okay,
10
look.
bits, boss.
Daddy.
See if there's
Yeah.
9 months earlier.
Casey, I see it.
That one.
Casey, turn the car on.
That one could be anything.
Casey, turn the lights
That looks
on,
like
please.
bullshit because it looks like someone's like focusing on a
I
star.
think that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's a
That's
road.
not a star, it's a
It's like
planet.
going,
It's
you
not
know?
it's not flickering, it's a planet. Sorry.
Now it went away.
that's like nitpicking.
And now it's coming back.
Right. Okay. Well, that is a
Yeah,
crossing
it's-
light. Trend Killer, give me just a minute because we're just gonna be finishing up the podcast here soon, and then I'll respond.
That's a fun fact, just in case if none of you guys know. If you're looking up in the night sky and you see something and it's flickering, it's a star. If it's not, it's a planet.
Or it's a ghost.
If you're looking up at the sky, hopefully it's not a ghost.
Okay, so like I said, I heard this one a lot. From a lot of different, but however, they're doing the same thing I'm doing, and they're telling stories that they've looked up and heard themselves. So maybe one of these days I'll have to see if I could get a video myself at 425 Ashley Road in Crossett, Arkansas, and I'll have to see if I could get it myself and believe in myself. Because if that's true, I'd like to see where the whole phantom light's coming from. But it looked like it was disappearing.
Hell yeah, dude. Give me a call and let me know, and I will uninvite myself immediately.
You don't. Hey, look, there's a place, and I'll talk to you about it off the stream. But there's a place not too far from where I live. It's one of the most haunted places in America.
Nope.
You tell me if I don't pay for you to come over and pay for everything,
100% will not.
you won't come to an investigation with me?
Nope.
That would be awesome. It's only
If you want, you can use that money to come investigate the northern part of Virginia, where we have a specific part. It's probably going to be in one of the stories. If you're doing top 6, this is like one of the most haunted. I believe it's it's called like the Bunny Bridge. It's in I can't remember where it is. I think it's only a couple hours away from me, actually, like 3-4 hours north of me or something like that, if that. You can investigate that area, but I don't think it's just a haunted. It's like a guy would wear a bunny mask and kill whoever go underneath the bridge, and then hang bunnies up underneath the bridge or whatever. But I think it's considered a haunted place too.
It's just like an urban legend kind of thing.
Yeah, you can use that money to shoot me on up to your state and just come on down and investigate that place for you. And that's good content. You got it all on your own.
This place is a investigator's like wet dream. It's an old tuberculosis hospital.
Oh dear God!
Turned into an insane asylum.
Oh dear God!
And then it got closed down for mistreatment of the people.
So we have dead tuberculosis patients. We have dead mistreated asylum patients.
Yes.
Yeah, that place haunted.
And
I would say no investigation needed. It's haunted.
Actually, so many people died. Not to mention there's hundreds of unmarked graves on the property.
No thank you.
But so many people died there that they had to build a tunnel going underground leading to the morgue because it was disrupting the public because there was too many bodies being pulled out of there at one time. So they had to make an actual tunnel to transport these bodies.
And that tunnel is haunted.
Guarantee it. I guarantee the whole thing's haunted.
Nope. Absolutely not.
But alright, that was the top 6 most haunted locations in Arkansas.
Warning. The witching hour may contain material that can be disturbing to some listeners. Listeners' discretion is advised.